Well, hello and welcome back to In the News, a special segment with the Alliance Against Seclusion and Restraint. My name is Guy Stevens, and I am here today to look at another recent news story related to the use of restraint and seclusion in schools and provide a little bit of commentary on it as well. So we have a story here today, which I'm going to share with you that is out of Arizona, and we'll take a little listen, and I'll probably stop it at a few points and provide a little bit of commentary on this as well.
A months-long police investigation is now unfolding at a Valley school.
Yeah, the Laveen School District telling us a now former district administrator improperly restrained a student.
Now, I just want you to let those words sink in for a second. Two things: a former district employee, and I just want to point out to you that, you know, these things often happen. And the difference between this event and so many other events is that this event happened to be caught on video and the event happened to be shared on video. But very often these things happen. There's no video, and people don't become former employees. They continue to be current employees. The other thing to keep in mind with this is they use the words improper restraint. And I just want you to really think about that for a second. What does that really mean, improper restraint? Really what it means is that you were doing something that was harmful. Really what it means is that you were potentially doing something that could have caused significant injury or even death. So improper restraint seems like a very weak way to put this, but again, just kind of think about the words that are often used.
It's all caught on camera. ABC 15's Ashley Paredes has more.
So you've seen a little bit of this video begin playing, and of course the video begins as the child comes into the room there and is grabbed around the neck. And of course, we see in this still frame here that there is a school administrator on top of a child, certainly in a position that could affect the child's ability to breathe. But I want to point out that what we often see in these situations, regardless of any training that somebody might have had, when it comes to situations that someone might attempt a restraint, what we often see is all the training goes out the window, and it looks nothing like a restraint that might have been taught in a program. And in fact, this is a very good case of that, where what's being done in this child is not something that would have been taught. I mean, they called it an improper restraint, but I mean, it's a potentially life-threatening situation. The other thing I want you to pay attention to in this video as you see it, as the clip plays, is how everyone that's in the background in this video doing various things, this doesn't seem to cause any concern. People continue doing what they're doing. And the concern that I have around that is that, you know, if these situations are so normalized that people aren't even disrupted in what they're doing to look at what's happening, it's a little bit concerning.
We need some change. I'm demanding that you get somebody who cares up in here.
This is the video causing concern, showing a 10-year-old student at Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy and a now former Laveen Elementary School District administrator.
And that's shocking to see. I mean, again, you see the arm around the neck as the child and the administrator enter the room. And of course, the child goes down. The adult eventually goes on top of the child. And again, everybody in the background there is business as usual, as if nothing's happening there. And of course, you just heard the mother speaking up and speaking out, which we commend and appreciate, the mother doing, taking action and going to the Board of Education about this.
The boy's mother, Danielle Jordan, telling us on Thursday during a press conference her side of what happened on April 25th.
As he entered into that office, he got pulled by his clothes, choked with his shirt. Then she slammed him up against the wall.
The district providing a different narrative.
This should never have happened. And, this is a child that was having a difficult time, not a child that needed to be manhandled by someone, a child that needed some assistance. But let's hear what the district has to say in response.
Calling it an improper restraint.
An improper restraint. I mean, that seems like an understatement here in this situation.
The administrator grabbing hold of the student's arm and shoulder. In a press release telling us the administrator was asked to come to the school to help.
Arm and shoulder, but we seem to have forgotten the neck there. We can clearly see a arm around the neck. This is a dangerous, and again, I don't even want to call it a restraint or a hold. This is a very dangerous situation.
the student. And while he was being escorted to the in-school detention room, we're told the administrator thought the student was trying to leave campus. The governing board addressing the incident during their board meeting Thursday evening.
We acknowledge that the holds used in the video were not appropriate and we do not condone such conduct.
We acknowledge. How about we apologize? We apologize that this happened, and this should never have happened. You can't not acknowledge it. It's right there in video. You have to acknowledge it, but we need to do better than that. When these situations happen, we do not only acknowledge that they happen, but we need to do something proactively to ensure they don't happen again. And we need to apologize to those that are harmed by these things.
Then allowed for public comment, which broke out with some chanting, as many parents were wanting to give their 2-minute speaking time to Danielle.
Let me speak.
Board members meeting with their attorney and ultimately giving Danielle 30 minutes.
But what hurts is that you didn't take the time to call me. You didn't take the time to even apologize.
Although
didn't take the time to even apologize, and we heard it right there. And of course, I'm sure attorney advice, as often is the case, is not to apologize. But, we need to acknowledge when we do wrong by children, when we do wrong by each other. We need to acknowledge that. We need to apologize. We need to make things right.
the district saying they tried repeatedly to meet with the parent through her attorney and community advocate to seek resolution. We're told the Phoenix Police Department is still investigating the matter with staff.
Unfortunately, we know how this will go. When police departments investigate these issues, very rarely, if ever, do they come back with any findings that find any fault, as if these situations are acceptable. And again, in many cases, what we see in these situations is that what is being done to a child is actually in violation of state law. But there seems to be little, if any, accountability when state law is violated in a way that endangers the life of a child.
Participating in interviews this past week.
Throughout this process, we have maintained open lines of communication with family, and we want to emphasize that the employee no longer works for the district.
But
and again, the employee no longer works there. As I mentioned, if this had not been on video, if this had not been in the news, that probably would not have been the outcome. And that shouldn't be the case. If people are doing things that they shouldn't do, if they're doing things that can really harm a child or themselves, because again, I want to be really clear here that, when it comes to the use of physical restraint, people often say they are using physical restraint in the name of safety. But what we know is the greatest likelihood of injury to both the staff and the student occur when you go hands-on, when you use a physical restraint. When you go hands-on with an individual, you will likely put them into a fight or flight response mode. And at that point, safety is off the table. An individual is going to respond. An individual is going to respond from kind of a biological drive to survive. This is not a thoughtful process. This is an innate process where when you put somebody in fight or flight mode, they will kick, they will spit, they will try to get free. And it's all in the name of survival.
according to the boy's mother, she's just finding that out.
Just now. Formally just now.
She says that's her motivation for speaking out now and for change.
And this often happens. The parents aren't notified of what's happening, what's changing, and this can lead to situations that really are not fair to the parents or anyone else. So anyway, I'm not going to go through the whole news story here, but I just wanted to bring this clip to your attention. Again, this is our In the News segment, and I really appreciate you joining us here today. And we will be back here again real soon to share more news and more stories. And again, appreciate you being here with us today.